Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypher Bugs. Okay, so I just wanted to do this quick video because I thought it was quite funny. And you know what I'm like? I'm probably going to upset some people with this, but I don't care. You know, basically it was a tweet from Lance Pugmire, respected sports journalist from the LA Times, and he put in this tweet that he said that basically what he said was, I asked at Canelo Estrada, that's Francisco Estrada, Mexican boxer, why he never tested positive for Clenbuterol after he told me Mexican beef is all I eat while training in Sonora. And as you can see in the tweet, Estrada's reply was, I eat it, I don't inject it. Which for me was a little bit of a shot at Canelo Alvarez. Now, as you know, back in February, Canelo Alvarez tested positive not once but twice for Clenbuterol in his system. You know, as it's been well documented, you know, etc. He served a 6-month ban for it. You know, he did this hair follicle test, which probably wasn't actually done by protocol, etc. You know, where it was the Nevada State Athletics Commission took a sample of his hair follicle and provided it to a WADA accredited lab to test, which is probably not the process really. No one should be touching the actual sample unless it's the drug agency themselves, the anti-doping agency themselves that's put in charge of testing the individual. But anyway, look, I'm not going to go into all the details about this because I've gone back and forth about this already with people, and you know, I've also done so many videos in the past about his failed drug test and given my take on it, and I felt, you know what, there was enough to suspect Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion. You know, you couldn't without a definitive answer, you couldn't tell me whether it was contaminated meat or whether it was the end cycle of a 3 or 4 month usage of Clenbuterol. No one can give you that answer definitively, and obviously they didn't do the hair follicle test properly. They didn't follow protocol when it came to it, so I don't actually trust what the Nevada State Athletics Commission did with that hair follicle test, because remember, there's a lot of money in this fight, and you know what, Las Vegas don't want to lose out, the promoters don't want to lose out, and certainly the fighters don't want to lose out of the money they're going to make out of this fight. But I felt that, you know what, this kind of tells you what people are going to think of Canelo Alvarez. Now obviously Canelo Alvarez's fans are going to always support him and back him and, you know, defend him, but this failed drug test, no matter what your opinion is of it, it's always going to be a stain on his legacy as a fighter. When he retires in years to come and people talk about Canelo Alvarez, they're going to say, yeah, but he did have that failed drug test after he fought Triple G, or before he fought Triple G in a rematch in May of 2015. You remember that? Yeah, I do remember that. It's always going to be there. It's never going to disappear. People are always going to bring it up. People are always going to question his integrity, his credibility as a fighter, and this is proof of it. You know, I mean, I thought it was funny the way, you know, Francisco Estrada replied, I eat it, I don't inject it. You know, and he's from Mexico, and he says all he eats is meat, Mexican meat. So you think, you know, he would be putting himself in some serious kind of, you know, danger and some risk of consuming contaminated meat. So it kind of makes you wonder, you know, these fighters in the past, you know, who was it? Eric Morales. There was another fighter, I can't remember, from Mexico. You know, they all claimed that they tested positive for Clenbuterol because of contaminated meat. You know, you've had Canelo Alvarez now say it. So it makes you wonder, like, how serious of a problem is it, you know, and stuff like that. I'll probably have to do a bit more research in terms of how much do they inject in livestock into the cattle in Mexico, and you know, what are the chances of that showing up in your bloodstream and stuff like that, etc. You know, maybe do a follow-up video on it and get a bit more research done on it. But I thought it's quite interesting. But the main thing here is, forget all the other stuff, you know, the opinions, the assumptions, or whatever you think of Canelo. The point is, it's always going to be a stain on his legacy as a boxer, as a fighter. You know, no matter what he does, it's never going to leave him, because people are always going to remember it, unfortunately for him. And, you know, this is a clear example of what Estrada has said here to Lance Pugmire of the LA Times. And you know, it will happen. You know, you see it in social media now. Everyone's questioning it. Everyone's calling him a cheat. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are like me, neutral boxing fans, who don't believe him, and some do believe him. So it's always going to be one of those situations for me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. You know, how do you think this will affect Canelo Alvarez's legacy in the sport of boxing? His failed drug test, where he tested positive for Clenbuterol. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.